All right, man. So here's a crash that happened in '97. I'm curious if they talk about it all in LSO school.
Okay.
And
Charlie, is this a Charlie?
Charlie, of course, man, the legendary Hornet. So I didn't know this until I started flying behind boats, being taught how to fly behind boats. But there is there's very specific comms. So like it's always right for lineup. It's always come left.
Correct.
And it was explained to me that's because if the mic gets clipped or whatever, there's a certain sequence of the words that can never be mixed, so you don't get your rights and your left mixed up.
Correct.
So I don't think I've never read that anywhere. So that's something that I learned in actual flight school. The other thing that's very important in naval aviation, as far as landing on boats, is the LSOs voice inflection. How you're saying, power, right? So that kind 100%. Of thing. So when you watch this video,
sugar calls,
the sugar calls are soft. If you get the stern, firm daddy voice, lots of power, or if it's, come left, that's a heavy come left, or, come left, that's a normal, right? So, and you kind of, depending on who was waving me, you kind of, you build a little muscle memory with the tone of their voice. So you kind of learn the LSO speak as a pilot when you're flying, in my case, I was a CAG 9, same cadre of LSOs and stuff. So, sure. It was almost second nature when I would hear this stuff. Like I would hear and I would just do it. And you guys as LSOs are looking to see if the response from your voice inflection is enough. Correct?
Yes. Correct.
And so that's super. So this crash, when you watch it, it's pretty crazy, but when you watch it, I'm really curious about, why there was such a massive correction. So here I will share thy screen. The stage. Here we go. And you guys see it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Kennedy.
Did they show this LSO school?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They did. So you guys talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Looks off to me.
The good news is he doesn't have to taxi.
No.
He's already pointed in the correct direction.
Yeah, here's the Plat cam view. Yeah.
Looks off to me.
Dude. All right. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yep. All right. So 2 questions, man, as a naval aviator type. I thought on his own, he was having a pretty good pass. Now, so if you hear that there's a voice on there that says, looks off to me. Who is that?
That they never really mentioned it in LSO school, and I'm not sure if that was somebody on the platform, but if it was, somebody had to key the mic to say that because it's recorded on the Plat cam. So it was either it's somebody that said something, or the other thing that potentially, and this is what I think it was, is that the controlling LSO was about to say something, keyed the mic, didn't say it, then you hear that guy say it next to him, and again, this is something that is very, very important to people that watch Platcam videos. They're there for one reason and one reason only, and we would have to explain this to all the Plattles, which Gonky knows what that is. Plattles is a term in naval aviation where people would sit in the ready rooms and watch the videos like that and feel like they could call the pass. Gonky was one of them, one of the best, and by best I mean worst, because Plattles are horrible, but where they think they know the pass because they're watching this plane, and you could see it on there, right? There's crosshairs, right? And what people think on the YouTubes and on Plattles and all that is that the plane's supposed to be in the center of that crosshair at all time. That's not the case at all. What that crosshair is there for is for center line, number one, because that camera is physically on the center line in the flight deck. So the backup LSO is using that to make sure the plane's on center line. The horizon bars are not there to show you where you are on glide slope. It's to show your wings, whether they're level or not. That's it. So you will watch YouTube videos where the plane looks like it sinks on the Plat cam. It'll pull out a 3-wire. It's on glide slope. This part has nothing to do with the glide slope of what we're looking at. It's purely that. So when you say that, yes, from where I'm sitting watching it, didn't look like a bad pass. Looked like he was on center line. I think where it got it, and I think there was some backstory to the particular pilot, and that's the other thing, but I can't remember specifically, but I want to say there was something like that in this story, whether it was center line control or something. And if you notice, and you can go back and play it, he puts a correction in, and then there's a stern voice inflection. So in other words, the LSO is about a beat behind the pilot. The pilot already made the correction. The LSO gives him a hard call. So like you said, he makes an even harder call, and that's what causes him to drag the wingtip, catch the wires, and go from there. So it was critical, not only voice inflection, but the timeliness of the calls, right? So there were times where I wanted to make a call, but they already had the correction in. So now I need to get back ahead of the jet. And just like flying an aircraft, an LSO can get behind the aircraft as well. But truly, when you are good at it, and I would never say that I was really this level good, but if you were like, Bug Roach, if you were the notorious LSOs, you could make calls and watch the plane change. I mean, you literally, it was like you were flying the jet. And I mean, there were moments where I had that, which is really cool. The legends did it every day. And it all just comes from thousands upon thousands upon thousands of passes waved and talking to guys.
Yeah. So, and I didn't realize this either until I was on a carrier, but they have that Plat cam down there at the LSO station
100%.
On the boat. And there's one guy that's his job to watch it, right?
The backup LSO, typically, which is the more senior LSO. So you have multiple positions looking after the guy that everybody sees. That's the primary. His job is glide slope. That's right. And when I was primary, I'm not looking at anything. I'm usually further out in the LA looking at glide slope. Is he going to clear the ramp? Do I need to wave him off? What's going on with the pitching deck, etc.? The next person over is the backup. They are solely looking at that camera and that lineup. Now they'll take glances, but they really are. And then next to them, you have CAG paddles, which should be looking at everything. And then you have other positions, a writer, you got somebody that's watching the deck. There's all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, you kind of answered my second question. As a ball flyer who has received many stern, mainly power calls, like I didn't think that the right for lineup was too stern.
I think it was the moral of the story from the LSO school on that particular one was voice inflection along with timeliness of call.
Yeah,
you could see the wing
was already putting it in. Yeah, and then he heard like, "Oh shit, I need to get more." Okay,
and that's dangerous on a lineup. You do that with power, where there's tons of videos of a pilot put in power, and then I say power. All that looks like is a bolter.
Yeah.
Right. It's not as that's the safer thing. This one just happened to be the lineup thing. And it's crazy that jet flew again and the guys have walked away. And that's